Welcome to another installment of First Step, where we get industry professionals, leaders in their field, to share with us the steps they took to get them to where they are today. And with us, we have a guest who has made some serious trails, blazed some serious trails in the entertainment industry in his own right, and has been involved in it for over 15 years, starting from the tender age of 15 years old. The brother's still looking a little young and fresh, but the man in it for a long time. We have with us today Marcus
Yeah.
Braveboy. What's happening, partner? How you doing?
Oh, Arion, my brother. That's the same. But then I still look at if you I started to grow the beard, I started to get the
Yeah.
grace.
I wondered if that is the COVID look or if that is just the new look.
And now that, well, boy, it's a mix, it's a mix.
It's a mix. Nah, it's a good look. It's a good look still.
Yeah.
Well, Marcus, I'm really glad you made the time to, to to share with us and come on the platform and express, your things, your journey and all of that. So I want to get a little feel now from you in
Uh,
terms of how that decision was made to get into the arts, get into music, especially in Trinidad, it being such a bit of I wouldn't say the
academic
most
corporate.
sought after, yes, the most sought after way of making your money. What was that decision for you? How did that come about for you?
I mean, I always have to give props to my dad, boy. Like my father, for those who don't know, is Hilton Braveboy. My dad was a television producer, television host, by profession.
Nice.
Also communications officer for Ministry of Education. Like he did a lot of different things. And my dad was in entertainment when I was growing up, right? And he always encouraged me to. I'm an only child too, his only son. So from like the tender age of like 3 or 4, when he dropped me to nursery school, he would we would be singing calypsos, and he would kind of try to get me to make up songs, and we'd be composing songs on the way there. And it's only when I look back at it, I realized that he was really reading me
Nice.
for entertainment. But I was very shy, always very shy. So my dad tried me with a song calypso in Standard 3. That's where I would say I officially started entertainment. There's this NJAC competition.
Nice.
The NJAC Calypso competition. And
Right.
I did that 2 years in a row. I had a song called Daddy Take Back the Gun. And my dad he write these songs for me and actually went to record it professionally. So my first professional studio recording was probably like about is in Standard 3.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Wow. So you would have been about 9 or 10 then.
I think
You
so,
would have been
yeah.
younger, 8 in
Not
that.
younger, yeah, 11, yeah, 8, yeah. Because I did 11 plus
Standard.
11.
Wow.
Yeah, but,
Cool.
and then Jason Desant is only, I remember there was a visually impaired producer I worked with when I was at, and funny enough, it's Jason Desant. And I just, as an adult, worked with him on a track,
Oh, wow. Cool.
like a year ago. So it kind of came full circle.
Yeah.
And then after, I was really interested in the spotlight, like singing and stuff at the time. And then I think at the age in Form 1, my dad, we used to play the recorder in school. My dad wanted me to play an instrument. So I started playing the clarinet, and he enrolled me in the Brass Institute with Anthony Woodrow.
Right.
So I was in class with ATN Charles.
Right, cool.
Charles,
Yeah, the big jazz musician, trumpetist.
yeah, the jazz musician.
Right.
Yes, I was in class with him and also Anthony Woodruff Jr., who's the saxophonist, very talented saxophonist now. So I really come from music now. Like people, I didn't only start music recently. I would say I was born into, but I was always very shy.
Right.
And I never liked the spotlight. And I ended up, when I was probably, I used to fool around at home. I actually wanted to be a DJ. Remember, there was a point in time everybody wanted to be a DJ.
Yeah,
I
went through that.
Yeah. So me and my neighbors, we had a song system called Fifth Element Song System.
Okay, cool. After the movie.
Yeah, because what happened is, just to explain how I went from playing clarinet and calypso and thing. Mm-hmm. When I was in Form 2, I discovered Lyman.
You discovered who?
Lyman.
Right.
And that became my life now. That became my whole passion. I just had a passion for liming and
It
meeting
doesn't want
people.
to line.
And when I look back at it, that was my early training in networking and my early passion for networking. Because it taught me at a very young age how to get along with a lot of different people, how to meet people. I was always that. While I was shy, Lyman broke me out of the shyness, right? And then we were well known, like popular, especially in the West End, like me and my neighbors. So we used to be in every house party, every pizza hut line, every soccer picnic, every football.
Right.
And we started a song system because, you know, that was the thing. So we had started a song system called Fifth Element Song System. And at the time, you know, we youths, we don't have no money, so I couldn't really afford to dubplate.
Right.
So I had a little PC at home and a computer mic. And I used to make my own dubplates and I used to impersonate Elephant Man. I would say, "Shizzle, man, this is Fifth Element Song System," right? And it impersonate Marshall. Yes, Marshall Montano, you know. So and that was a thing for us. And we decided to make a mixtape called Roti Gold.
What do you call it, Roti Gold?
Yeah, like how they had Reggae Gold. They made parody mixtape. And we made, so instead of she's a H-O-E, we had a song called She Like Bread. Right? On the Panic Radar, man. Just funny stuff. Like Arion Kelly had a song called Contagious. We had Chutney Tejas and just real kicks and fun. And it actually got into the hands of Ken Holder, who was at the time Treason
producer. Yeah, sure rock.
Right. And I'll bring up my friend Crystal Rose. Crystal was working at Ken at the time. And from Lyman, she knew me and my friend. And we used to fool around, you know, like, and that was our thing to make girls laugh, like, to sing our parody song that we had at home. And she was like, "Yo, you're really talented. Let me pass this. If you'll have a CD, let me pass it on to Ken." I thought nothing was going to come out of it. In no way was I thinking this would be serious. And Ken liked madness. So Ken actually wanted to meet with us. And then I went to Ecstatic Studios. I believe this was Form 5 into Lower 6, you know.
Right, so it would have been about 15, right?
Yeah. I think 15 years old. And I went to Ecstatic Studios. And I went there. Looking up to all the groups, you're in that position, you're in the studio with Treason. After seeing them on TV, and you remember all them time in our social media. So when you see somebody who is a star, it's a bigger deal than now.
Right.
So I can't be nervous because at the end of the day, I knew from young that I only have one chance to make a first impression. Right. So me and my boy Sergio was in the group with me. I was actually in a group called the Breathless Crew, right? Sergio and Wesley were in the group with me, my neighbors. And yeah, Ace was freestyling with us. And then, you know, we came back a second time and Marshall walked by. And I remember seeing Bungie there. I remember seeing like Scarface and all them fellas. I remember seeing KMC walk in and out the studio. And like we youths in the studio, so I remember Bungie. One day I always remember about Bungie, and this made me respect him on a whole next level up to today. I remember he walked in his studio and he walked past us. And he realized he walked past us without saying good afternoon. And he came back and he said, "Fellas, I apologize." Afternoon, you know. And I think that really made me respect him and appreciate like humility from an artist. And I never told, I never really told him story. One day I will tell him. But it was literally like seeing the industry in front of your eyes while being a youth in a studio.
Right.
And so that was the start of my career. Ken, I actually co-produced my first song at 15 years old. My dad bought me like a little MPC, like a small MPC setup. Right. It was called the Zoom, right?
And the MPC Zoom,
Right. I made a Juve hip-hop beat. So Ken, I made a basic. It sounds very amateur at home. But Ken reproduced it, and Nigel Brizan, I big up Brizan as well. Right. Brizan helped out as well. And also Marker. And if you know Marker, right?
Yeah,
so
Marker. Yeah, you had some big ones.
Yeah, so my first song was co-produced by Ken, mixed by Marker. and Nigel.
Nigel Brizan. Some big ones, yeah.
And the funny thing is, it got radio airplay. Even though I remember there was a song system called Militainment Sound System.
Yes.
It's Hans, funny enough, Hans Devine, Flex, Flex who's he used to do videos and do big ads and things.
Right.
one of the best editors, hands down, in the Caribbean, right? And so they played it a few times. I remember we went to 96.1 and we met with Paul Richards. In them days, you had to take a CD and go in the Hudson, travel in the Hudson, and you had to meet with the program director, waiting in a room. And I remember, I mean, people had their own issues with Paul Richards and 96.1. But at the time, I remember one thing I respected him too is when he met with us, gave advice. He said he likes the idea of the song, but he said someone need to work on his diction. You know, especially if you're going to do that style of music, people need to understand everything I say. And I remember I took the advice and didn't play the song, but from then I always listened, you know.
Right.
I'd always listen to any advice. I was always a sponge for advice. I was never somebody who felt I knew everything from a young age, because I didn't.
Right.
It was the opposite. I was looking for advice. And then we had another song called Fling It Back, which was more soca. And we entered Soca Monarch. I was actually in Youth Fest and Soca Monarch preliminaries.
Okay.
I got booed in Soca Monarch. Me and Sergio, I'll tell the story. We went Point 14 for Soca Monarch preliminaries. My father drove us, and we had dancers and things. Pick up Jamila, right. And she had a dance crew, and my dad knew her from like, my dad was always very into culture and stuff, and like Best Village, and he always had these links.
Right.
So my boy Sergio, boy, and he was known for scanting. He was the scanter man in the West in our house party days. Girls man, ladies man at the time, right? And he just started working 51 degrees as a waiter, and he was always this real fan. Remember back then, dressing fan like Metro wasn't cool.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So he was dressing Metro, like he was wearing like a clean shirt, looking crisp, everything.
Yeah, tight pants.
And I told him, I said, Sergio, well, not tight pants, well, luckily it wasn't, but still, I say, Sergio, we're going down Point 14. He shouldn't wear that. He's like, no, there's no swag, So we go in there, and we started performing. We just stood up. We just looked like these.
Wow.
Yeah, at the time.
And a South crowd is not an easy crowd. That's South, especially Point
Yeah.
Don't play.
And at the time, you know, I grew up very much a West boy, just, you know, middle class youth, but not really understanding the ground. You understand? Like, I didn't really understand the ground, and the ground have an energy and a vibes that they remember, like, back in the day, Cass and I used to get trouble too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was something similar. I was kind of related to that. Like, I think people looked especially at the person singing with me, and they didn't accept him. But back then, it didn't really have as much mixing, society-wise, you know, with young people as they have today. Right. Everybody is anybody, you know.
Right.
But so we started performing, and dancers, everything, and they just hear boo. Get up the FN stage. All your B words, so.
Yeah.
And the worst part about that, Arion, in that setup, it didn't really have like a way to get back to the stands where my parents were without walking through the crowd.
So you had to do the long hard walk, boy.
So this is the first time in my life I ever had to put on a game face.
Right.
People, you know what I mean? Like I learned it later on in life. You know, like when you want to come across a little more intimidating or to let nobody mess to you, you put on a game face. Right? So I put on a game face and I walk through the crowd. I only seeing people at bottle. I seeing people watching us hard, like only looking like food to rub. And we made it. The good news is we made it to the stands, and that was a very interesting introduction to the soca industry. Right. Also, I was able to see backstage how we reached it. They told us come for 2 p.m. Right. We reached 2 p.m. and this big artist went before us, and this big artist went before us. And by 11 p.m. we now performing. Wow. Right. So that was my introduction to that side of things.
But I want to get a feel though, because in all these encounters and experiences, you had it planned that this is how your walk gonna be, or it just started to work itself out like that for you?
I'll be honest with you. When I was, I would say 20, I was still kind of running the home studio a bit, but then my father, after like 2 years and I'm making no money, My father was like, son, I know there's a passion, but I think you need to get a job. And he was saying he didn't crush my dreams, but he was just saying realistic. He was saying, make some money, save, and then use that money to invest and get back into it.
Right, that's some very wise advice.
Wise advice.
Yeah.
And also, Graham Wilson. I don't know if you know Graham Wilson.
Yeah, I know
Graham was right. So he's a family friend. And I remember my dad took me to him for advice, and he was like, Marcus, you have a brain. Study it. Study the business side of it as well. Don't just create. Study it as well. Learn, educate yourself. And I always remember that, like, I expected him to be like, okay, Marcus, come next week and we work on some music. He watched me and he was like, nah, study out. And so I had a plan. My plan was to study the music business side of things. So actually I started to research, looked into NYU. I couldn't afford NYU. Then I looked at the UK, and the Westminster University had a program. So I started working as a core transcriptionist to save money, because at the time I was making like a 20, like probably like 5. At the time it was a high salary. I was making 5,000 a month or 6,000 a month at age 20. And then I had a second job, so I was working digital at a call center agent. So you say my total salary was like $8,000-$9,000.
Well, that wasn't bad for 20-year-old. You was a baller, yeah.
So I just started to save money. Plus, at the time, I was in my first serious relationship. So me and my girlfriend at the time, we just used to enjoy life, go every party, France down.
You're living the life, you have money. Yeah.
Right. So I was making enough money to save, plus really enjoy life. And I mentioned my girlfriend as well, because at the time, she was saying, entertainment is a crazy industry. I don't know if I could date somebody in the forefront of entertainment. And so I started to focus more on being a producer, right? And just being more behind the scenes. So for a few years, I kind of took a break from being an artist. And then I ended up, one of my best friends, Simon, he got into the music industry, and he wanted to invest in this artist named Anya.
Right. So this is the period now where around the mid 2000s.
Right.
Because yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to get the time. I might remember the years, but I remember the age. So like around 2020, I started my law degree.
Right.
From the University of London. And at the same time, so I was doing it externally at Gillian Lucky School, 8 years.
Right.
And what I would do is I would go out, like, I used to kind of go to New York on vacation and also, like I got into doing music stuff.
Right.
Working with this artist and moving around with her.
Right.
And because of that, like my trips to New York, I was able to I went to Shady Records, I went to Atlantic Records. I met Sycamore. Sycamore is actually the person in charge of YG, Travis Scott, and Lil Durk, and a few others. Somebody I still talk to this day. And through that project, I was able to get an introduction to the real music industry. And that changed my life in terms I came back to Trinidad with a whole different perspective on what a real music industry should be.
Right. Because
right? So,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, so I don't, it's a lot of things in my head at once.
No, that's cool, because I remember my introduction to you would have been when Gianja and I set up the studio in St. James. And you then would have come in, that would have been about I would say around 2007, 2008, in that vicinity there. When you had Anya. So it was you and Anya, I remember both of you. And but you came, I don't know if it was a label you started at the time or if it was management. I wasn't too sure exactly what was going on. Yeah.
So you would have been around the source and the vibes, right? So the first year we went to all that time, when you initially saw me, I was behind the scenes. I was playing my role, I guess, as the kind of A&R on the project.
Right.
And as Anya's personal manager. Like I'm learning that side of the industry. So I stopped music stuff. And I had to thank Anya as well, because while I was away, Anya was like, what, sometimes I would sing for fun, and Anya would be like, Marcus, you're real talented. Like, you need to start back singing. And I'll be like, nah, like, I enjoy what we're doing. Let's focus on you. And I remember we did a song with Casey, and Anya was like, well, I wanted a rap on it, Marcus, just do a demo now. And then she tricked me to sing it again, right? And then people had really like it. And I had this way I introduced Giandre. And I mentioned Giandre with a lot of love because while I much thanks to Ken is definitely one of my mentors. He introduced me to the industry.
Right.
The person who really, really developed me as an artist, Giandre and Tamara.
Yeah,
you know,
Gian and Tammy really.
And Tammy,
Yeah. They really mold because you at that time, at that period, you all were like on a project, and I would have eavesdropped on a few sessions, and just taking the vibes, and it was like you all all on a shared mission, then heading in a particular direction.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Even though it didn't work out, and I mean everything happens for a reason. At the end of the day, we're all still friends. We're all good. Everybody's happy in their respective lives and careers and stuff.
Right.
But I think the first song I did with G was Lyrical Apology.
I was
still working in the judiciary and Digicel. I was still back and forth with the New York situation. I was still just balancing all those things. And I was like, I saved my money and I went by G. Right? And I sang the song for G, and G was like, you know what, I realize this, Marcus. So let me work on it. And the production he put on that, boy, to this day, that song is amazing. I think I want to re-release the song, But I continued to work with G, and I worked on some. He had some rhythms, and he gave me the opportunity. Because all I ever wanted was opportunity, honestly. And I never got it from another artist in the industry. The only person I could say is I had a big up Tim Staff. Right. Tim is the only person I could think of who was like an elder to me, who watched me as a youth, but I didn't end up doing much with him and his band. I just did a little tour with them. But after thank Giandre and Tamara, especially G for really taking his time and understanding how to record, understanding harmonizing, understanding songwriting, understanding all those things. I think and I think I got spoiled to G too, because I got G's put so much effort into
perfection.
What he does now. I think when I started working, because for a while after that, I remember, I think G got busy with other projects, so I got busy. I can't remember exactly. I'll always continue checking them, but we didn't work on the same stuff.
Right.
And I ended up just networking and checking different studios, and I didn't get the same thing. I never got the same thing. I worked with a lot of different people until So me and G worked on a lot of stuff, and then I met Mevon.
Right.
And I actually knew Mevon for years because I was a real life. Everybody in the West knew me and my crew. We were good. And we had a mutual friend, Nigel Puckering, who went to school with me and was real tight with my boy Mikey. Right. And I think I used to see Mevon at lines. I think invite us to a few house parties and support, but we were always real good, man.
Right. And Mevon is a real nice sociable fella too.
I always thought Mev was real cool, me and Mev just clicked from day one.
Right.
And I knew he had a studio, but I can't remember if he sent me some beats in the earlys or if I went by him before the studio was developed and stuff. But I remember after working with Giandre, I know he wasn't ready just yet. Right? But I always like his vibes. I always like, and he was always very supportive too.
Who's this, Mevon?
Yeah, in terms of, in the early days, I didn't really have a team, so I just used to go Synergy and all these places by myself. And I remember he would get people, tell his whole crew, tune into Friday Night Live on Synergy to watch Mark Hardy, right? And then I remember, I can't remember, I think we bounced up again and he was telling me he have beats. And I was like, you know what, Mev real cool, let me check him. And I actually needed a studio to record a dub plate because I had a song called I'm a Trini, which was a remix to Wiz Khalifa's Black and Yellow.
Yes,
and I remember that. Right. So that was my first, I would say in my adult career, that was my first, that was my first hit generally, or kind of hit, or song I played on the radio.
Yeah.
And Slam used to play it a lot. And it's just because of the Santana, it went a little viral at the time. Viral at the time was like 5,000 views.
It went really local viral. Yeah.
Not a million like Swanee and that, right?
Yeah.
And I remember going by Mevon to record a dub plate for Scotch, because Hoppy actually messaged me and he was like, yo, I want you to do a dub plate for Scotch for the amateur, right? And I'm excited because I was like, well, I finally got accepted, Private Ryan and Scotch. It's a Private Ryan thing. Right. And I say, you know what? let me go by Mevo, right? And let me do this by Mevo. So I say, Mevo, how much is studio time, whatever. We came and we vibe. And after cutting the dubplate, Mev was telling me about this artist he working with called Young Rod. Right? He's like, this is Young Rod is an artist. He's actually David Rod's son, and he's a rapper. And I actually knew about Young Rod because remember at the time there don't have that many people doing not soca stuff. So I remember me and Mev following each other. I saw Rod's they used to have some freestyle something that they used to do. So I knew about him, you know. And I was always cool. I was like, you know what? Yeah, no scene. Like that's always my attitude. Like no scene, bring him. So he told Rods come in the studio, and me and Rods recorded a freestyle over Jay-Z and Kanye's Otis called Tote. And around the time it was a state of emergency. So we had a song about the state of emergency and stuff. And we shot a video. I remember Mevon always had his camera. He had his Rebel camera, and we shot some scenes and we edited the video right there and then. So we recorded a song, shot a video, and edited the video in one day. So that's how I know. I think we all knew we onto something here, and like we work well together. So I can't remember if it was the same session. He said he had this song called Pumping that he did with an artist called Simba Amani. He was never finished. I think Hans was a part of it too. So I was always dumb. I remember at that time I just grinded. I just opportunity. I'd work in other studios. I'd work with Anson Pro as well for a while. I used to, you know,
Anson. Right. Early, right, cool.
Yeah, just a few sessions, and I remember he was starting a team too, and you know they asked me to be part of the team, and this is the only time Devon, rest in peace to Devon. But I just clicked with Mevon and Rods more, you know. So I actually had to choose. I don't think I ever told him this, but I had to kind of choose. A few people reaching out to me to work now and be part of the team and stuff. But everybody I felt Mevon and Rods is the most genuine, and the explicit team. Adam, Liz, everybody, you know. Jerome, Peter. So then we did Pumping, and I remember sending it to, I try to remember the exact story of Pumping. We sent it to DJs, and then I think a few said not mixed properly or some kind of excuse.
Yeah, the usual old talk.
Yeah, the usual thing. And I think somehow it got in the hands of a Tobagonian DJ. I really can't remember. It's crazy to say this was a while back. It could have been like just the other day. And Pumping started to play on the radio in Tobago. And DJs, I think I remember this story wrong. I remember on Rods, they correct me if I was wrong, but DJs used to go to Tobago, obviously on the weekend for gigs or family time and things. And they only have Radio Tambourine really, you know, like that's the main station. So I think they did Pumping, like Pumping started Pumping Tobago. Pumping became a hit in Tobago. And then DJs over there would come back and they started to play it. And I think the DJ who really give it that full, I go and put like that DJ Khaled, I go and put my name behind the song and bust it. Sachi. Hollywood Sachi, right? And he's a controversial fella. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't like him, but I will always respect him for doing that. Because he's a man, he believes in local artists. Like, he believes in Trinidad artists. And I will always, despite whatever people say about him, he put his machine, his personal machine
behind that.
Yeah, and from that, other people started playing it. And of course, at the time, Adam now started to really progress as a DJ. So Adam was playing it all the time. DJ Jerome, you know, me and DJ Jerome at around the time established our friendship, and some party too. I used to bounce up Jerome and at the time I see him talking to a shorty, and afterwards I say, yo Jerome, and always see him artists, and you know what I mean. So I had my journey with all those things. And then after that, I kind of going on and on this.
No, you do your thing. I don't fall in when necessary. You just unfold naturally, bro. You go ahead,
No, and then I think after Pumping, it was me, Rods. It was not a group, as in Young Rod and Mark. It was not a group.
Right, at the time.
You know, just like I was telling you, we started to record.
Individual artists, right? Yeah.
But what happened, like Simba wasn't really a big part of the promotional tour, so it ended up being me and Rods. Yeah. And people just loved the vibes, and Meb was like, you know what, it's you and Rods, well, this song good on the track, we do another one. So I was like, all right. At the time, Rods was away, and I went and checked Mel, and my friend, one of my best friends, Karen, I think you know Karen, but you know Karen from
You all went to school together.
Yeah,
You had Ras as
yeah.
well. Because it was
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
Karen, and Michael. That
Mikey,
was,
right,
yeah, Mulida, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So Karen was like, I dare to do a song with the term nah boy. Like, because at the
Oh,
time
really?
everybody was saying so nah
Yeah,
boy.
yeah, that was the talk.
I
Nah,
went
boy,
you
just
nah
coming.
boy, nah
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
saying nah boy, nah boy.
yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Challenge accepted. So I go in
Yeah.
the studio, me and Mev listen to beats. And Mev phone a beat. And I say, Mev, Karen tell me sing a song with nah boy. So one thing I love about the Trapso project, and I love about working with Mev 100, is so much fun in terms of we will literally sit around and talk shit on us,
Yeah.
and that become a song.
Right,
And
right.
I think that's something that is just an amazing experience. It just is. It brought out that, like, you know, when music, you want music to always be fun. It was so much fun. Like, I swear, like,
Right.
we were just having fun,
Right.
and hits was coming out of
Yeah,
that.
it just happened organically, natural, yeah.
Organically, and so I literally was so now way. It was so
Yeah.
now way. And then we had them. It was so now boy. And we started hype up each other.
Right,
And
right, right.
it was up there, now boy. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
say this instead or say that. And then we just went back and forth. We guess what? We call Ruds. And we say Ruds, we have the next one.
Mm. Yeah, because I remember when that came out, and I always silently would follow Mevon and indirectly you, because
Right.
of one, obviously the connection, and at
With
that
the,
time you all were kind of spearheading a hip hop movement in Trinidad. So it had the trap so vibes, and well, Mevon, who was one of my past students, I always remained in touch and would follow him and would do, trying to make sure I know what he's doing. And when
right.
that dropped, what really sold, because no pumping was really big. But with the Nah Boy, my son, the really
Yeah.
loved that song. And he was about 2 years old. Nah Boy, Nah Boy, Nah Boy. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Nah,
No,
they catch it, they
I'll
catch
say this
it.
song here.
Uh,
That song catapulted us into stars. Like, I tell people, I know what it's like to be, because at the time they didn't really have anything else. It was like soca is during the middle of the year,
yeah,
or
exactly.
after Carnival, sorry,
Right.
and they didn't really have this zesting movement. Trinidad
Didn't have
dancehall
that.
wasn't saying
Yeah.
anything at the time.
Yeah.
Trinidad reggae wasn't saying anything at the
That's
time.
right.
Trinidad rock was nothing, so they had nothing, and we kind of came with this thing that was so fresh and so patriotic that it just everybody was in love. So I
Yeah.
really know what it's like
Yeah.
to be feel like a celebrity moving around Trinidad, and to have people like we do some amazing things. Like I remember sometime we went to Tobago
Uh,
and police stop at the traffic light and I didn't have on my seatbelt.
right. Right.
And the police watched and saw that it was me and Reds, and he was like, "Yeah, man." He just I remember
Yeah,
we get police escort already.
are you
I
serious?
remember like crazy stuff. Like I think this is one of my favorite stories. I used to do
Uh,
Roscoe's on a Saturday night, me and
yeah.
Mikey.
Yeah.
And early in the dance now, it was my job to kind of coordinate the DJs and make sure everything was okay. And I remember the opening DJ, when nobody was there, was just playing music.
Right.
And there's a mic for a mic man. And then this fellow was kind of drunk already. And he walked up. I know what was wrong with him. He just kind of grabbed the mic and started mic now. And then the DJ came up to me and was like, Marcus, I told this fellow, please stop it, so and so. He's a professional. And the man not listening to me. So I walk up to him and say, bro, I apologize. I'm one of the organizers of tonight. The DJ is feeling a bit uncomfortable. I just, right?
Right.
So the man put on the mic next. He say, who is you, boy? And I say, you know what? It's not that. I'm just one of the organizers of the party. So I go on outside now. Come outside. He say, my boy, who is you? I pose him, right? So I say, like when they're just on business and they're just like, I don't know this shipping now.
Right.
So I say, well, no, I am, Marcus. I'm one of the organizers. He's like, well, he's an artist or a DJ. So who is you? So I say, well, actually, I'm Mark Hardy. I sing pumping and that, boy. He say, wait, use Mark Hardy. The man is like, boy, I love your music, boy. I'm real sorry, boy. I didn't know this.
Shucks. Wow. Yeah, boy.
It happened again.
Now, boy, save your boy.
What? It had some, like, I remember buying a burger outside Zen, and it had some fellas pull up, really. And they're not a stereotype.
Right.
But we know the vibes, right? The jams in the air,
right.
the slippers, the trick, the vest, right? yeah, right?
Yeah.
And there's a team of them. And they come by the burger stand and they say, my boy, what's your name? Who's you? Some same thing again, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know Mark Hardy. You know, like when they look like an artist, people always want to know
Right.
who you are. So
Yeah.
I was like, and that's something I always aim to do, to maintain my artist image. Because when I travel or when it's good for people to, I rather people ask me if I'm an artist than me say, hey, well, you know, I'm an artist. So
I got you.
it's better for network, you know. So I always kind of put pride in it, right?
Nice.
So yeah, and when you say, nah, boy, I'm thinking these fellas like, oh, you just rinse your music company hood and so it gave me this kind of, remember I had mentioned earlier, not understanding the ground when I was in Soca Monarch and those days.
Right.
That the success on Nah Boy made me understand the ground a lot more. Relate, because interestingly, like, I went to a private primary school, right? Just to get some more background on how I grew up and stuff.
Right.
Grew up middle class, but my grandmother was a teacher in a private primary school in St. Bernadette. So, I grew up kind of like a white boy primary school.
Right. You were sheltered.
Yeah.
Things, yeah.
But one thing is only the other day, you know, with my dad's health and stuff, I think back of a lot of memories with us and he would take me straight from school and carry me Belmont and carry me by NJAC or carry me. My grandfather was living Quarry Street. You know, like my family's originally from that Quarry Street area. Right. So my grandfather in his later years just wanted to live there, you know, and he just, so I remember as a child, like coming from, like going CIC, and my father would take me from school to Quarry Street, and I was never, it's almost like slowly but surely I was bred to be humble and be grounded.
Right. Be grounded.
Yeah.
And remain grounded.
I didn't understand it at the time, but it helped me be who I am today for sure, because I never treated anybody less. I never treated anybody more.
Yeah.
I always thought everybody was equal.
And that's one of the key things that always stood out with you, where I was concerned. From the first time I met you, you always were very, very humble, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a matter of, it never came across, you know, sometimes people say, boy, like you're timid. It was never that. It was always giving people the due respect, no matter who it is in space. And I always admired that about you in terms of your approach to deal with people, you know?
I think my father is so, because my father is the same man. I remember, I say when I was growing up, my father was somewhat of a celebrity. Right. And I remember he would always treat the security guard the same way he would treat the businessman, same way he would treat the remember government minister. He used to be interviewing government ministers.
Right.
You know, the current prime minister now personally. And so it was like, I would, remember I'm his son, so I would be in circles with him, and he always treated everybody the same, from the person cleaning the office to, you know, everybody I just like him for that. Like, he was just always, and I adapted that for sure.
But in terms of, because I can't help but identify the how many times you would mention your dad and how much role he would have played in your being. And I know now you're being involved in him health-wise and you know, having to care for him 100. In terms of the influence your dad had on you, is it a conscious thing for you to try to, I wouldn't say please him in what you do, but maintain a certain consideration of him and the things that you do, you know?
Yeah, for sure, because I would say two things. I would say my father, I think, was before his time with a lot of things.
Right.
My father is probably one of the most talented people I know, if not the most talented. And I think, like, anything that I am doing now, I think that he would have done before, but they just didn't have a outlet for it. So, like, he had his own clothing line. He used to paint like African prints, and he used to do tie-dye jerseys and go in Emancipation Fair and sell and things. I used to go with him and sell. He used to do wood burning. He wanted to do documentaries. He did all these things, but I feel they didn't have the internet back then. They didn't have synergy. They didn't have, you know, so he was before his time. So I think a lot of ventures that he would have tried didn't work out, but it wasn't his fault. It was more like they just didn't have a market for it at the time.
I got you.
So in a weird way, I feel like I honoring and that kind of goes to why I changed my name back to Braveboy from Mark Hardy, as in my stage name.
Right.
Because I was Marcus Braveboy as an artist, but then I had to separate the two. Because remember, I have a career as a businessman, and also as a legal, you know, like in the legal world. Like, I'm not a lawyer, but I guess I consider me a legal consultant or You know, I read my own contracts. I actually, if a friend asks me to vet a contract, I could do it. You know, I'm
Right.
still
I got
in
you.
that area. So yeah, so for sure, I think kind of honoring the family name, kind of. I mean, I must say, like, I've never done anything bad about my father. You know, you know, like anybody who from the current prime minister
Right.
before he was current prime minister. I don't know if I could access him right now. Like.
Right. Well, yeah.
I remember being at an event and the current prime minister was there, and I approached him and you know, like, you know, when people always comment at you, it's like in his mind I could see, I'm next top person coming to talk to me.
Right.
And then I say, hey, sorry to bother, you know, I'm Hilton Braveboy's son. And like he totally changed his vibe. Like he went from being busy to stopping whatever he was doing to be like, how is it, yo? Like how like not yo, but he's like, how is your dad? Like you know, how long I haven't seen him. Because they came up together, you know, like my aunt and him used to hang out and you know,
okay, cool.
So I think seeing like if the prime minister of the country could show my father that kind of respect, and I've seen it in multiple, like anybody, you know, anybody ever, that was important to me.
Right.
In terms of the decisions I make in my life and stuff.
Right.
I think nobody can really say anything bad about me either. You know,
no. I think you have a fairly clear
track
record. I know if you're going to leak some kind of sex tape or someone, clean up the place. But
no, and I mean, I'm not an angel for sure.
Right, for sure.
You know, I had my wild days as a youth. You know, so I wouldn't say bad influences, because generally my friends weren't bad influences, but you know, I had friends involved in some illegal stuff. I had friends involved in stuff, and they always respected that I was none that. You know, and but you know, you still had some wild times.
Right. So
but, I think that was always important to me to honor. Yeah.
I'm trying to get a feel now. So that, I mean, your dad and doing, I guess you honoring his legacy, and you are his legacy essentially. You know, you kind of being an only child and all of that. I want to switch a little bit now into the professional aspect, and you know, embarking on a genre which isn't it's coming out of Trinidad, where everybody would say if you're going in the arts, the only time you can really eat or be paid in a decent enough way would be doing soca, right? Right, which is understandable, is our thing, is our culture. You all went on to do the trap, so which I always respected because you maintained your local twang doing trap music, right? How now have you been able to pivot and keep yourself relevant in an industry that, or not industry, but in doing genres that not popular in Trinidad, you know? How have you been able to maneuver and then start building your brand internationally as well? How did that work for you, and what was the process?
Yeah, well, I think that word they use there, internationally. I think, unfortunately, in order to earn and in order to have longevity in this industry, in the current state, you have to look outside in some way. So even those Zessa artists, they gain real love in Trinidad, but they're at least allowed to tour around the islands.
Okay.
And the music's starting to pop in England, and I heard that music outside. So just why I say that is, people always ask what happened to trap, so, and why the movement stopped. I think we all reached a point where, you know, the lower diminishing returns.
Yes.
It felt like that started to happen where we weren't doing anything wrong, because we wanted to improve our sound, and we were working with Giandre mixing all our songs. We making sure we have a video guy. So we were trying to release more material of great quality and improve the quality each time. But the money we were making kept getting smaller and smaller, right? And the opportunities kept getting smaller and smaller. And I think that after a while, like, I mean, you know, me, of all three of us, I am the oldest, and me getting into my 30s, it bothered me a lot now, because it's like you're putting in, like, I'm all about investment, but after 3 years, if it is all three of us are investing time, money, and sweat and everything,
you need to see some return on investment.
And it's like, okay, cool. I'm somewhat of a celebrity. Okay, cool. I can get in everywhere free. Okay, cool. As you know, we have little endorsements here or there. I started to think about I can't buy a house and a car for this, you know.
I got you. Yeah.
And I always had to think I am getting older, and I don't really have much time. And I had started to bring up those conversations, and I guess it was bittersweet because it was like at the time we just get all this fame and celebrity and stuff, but at the same time we all knew that it wasn't. We all were dealing with financial struggles or other struggles and stuff. And so I think, and then at the time, um, the sound of Trinidad was changing into more the dancehall. So that's when we dropped Mood. We were like, you know what? We always work around the obstacles. We were like, you know what? Let's work on Mood.
Right.
Let's try something different. I always wanted to sample that song because I'm a big 90s soca fan as well. Like Raga Soca,
Right. So that's Mood with Abdiel and
right?
singing over
and I think and also I have to mention this as well. Around the time when we were having those discussions and we were having those thoughts about, all right, like this not really making business sense. Because we were trying to do so many things and we were trying to release the album, and I think we were a little before, like if it is that we were doing trap so right now, streaming wise and
your numbers would have been nice,
but it was just before, like literally just before. So it was still very much dependent on gigs. And I think a lot of promoters didn't want to pay us or pay us our full fee, and and our price wasn't that bad. So anyway, not to go into it, but we went through that. And then I got the opportunity when I met Bad Royal. Bad Royal is an EDM group from LA, right?
Right.
And they came down to work at Bungie. And then I met them by a double stand. I always laugh at that. Through Reese from 5 Miles to Midnight. I had to big up Reese, And Reese, that is my real brother too, because Reese made sure I was a little intoxicated, and I'll get some doubles after a party. And then I pulled up by Frankie's, and the doubles man by Frankie's was there, and hailed Reese, and Reese is like, yo, I had introduced to these fellas. So he introduced me to Kevin, who is the guy with the long blonde from Barrow. And friendly networking person. I said, at the time I always had the link with Roscoe. I could get anybody in free once they say, but they have one short pants, right? So I carry them to party, and I make sure the DJ pick them up, and I just buy them drinks and be lying. And that's just my personality. That wasn't me trying to use nobody.
That's your hosting. You're hosting people, right? You've been a good host.
Right. And then we just became real good. They had to go by Bungie, and I took them to the studio by Bungie. I just kind of was a friend to them, just make sure they were good. And then they were coming back for Carnival, and I took care of them. They actually stayed by a friend of mine for Carnival.
Nice.
And I took them to all the feds, make sure they were good, make sure they had a great time. And at the end of Carnival, they were like, why don't come Miami for Miami Music Week, right? Just to mention, while we were in Trinidad, they sent me a beat to work on. So the first ever EDM song I wrote became somewhat of a, I don't want to say a hit, but a really popular song in their catalog.
Right, okay, cool.
Which is Galaxy Ranger, right?
Right.
And they told me, come to Ultra and just roll with us. And I was like, well, Miami Music, I was like, all right, cool. So at the time, I would say we were just stressed financially because, yes, I have my business and it's probably pumping money into music and everything.
Right.
And I decided to take the chance, and I went, and that broadened my mind. And I think I started to realize, you know what? I love what we're doing in Trap So, but we're not being respected and appreciated enough for what we're doing. Right. And I started to realize this is a whole different, I realized there's a whole world out there.
It is, yeah.
It's like Trinidad is cool, and getting that respect, and us trying to stay on top in Trinidad is cool. Right. But it's a whole different. I use the analogy, it's our community football, it's our national football, it's our World Cup.
Right.
I was introduced to the World Cup for the first time as with the Anya project was probably my first introduction. But as an artist, I was introduced. I remember I performing in Miami now.
Wow.
It's like I performing to people. I will tell you the story. Right? The first time I performed with Bad Royal, I had 5 girls waiting on me when I came off the stage. 5
little groupies one time, right?
Yeah, just to take pictures and just to, And at a crowd, and they had some Bajans and Trinis in the crowd randomly who like EDM, and they were so happy to see a Caribbean person performing.
Wow.
So they wanted to take pictures, and I did like about 3 gigs with Barrel, and I just realized, you know what, this is something I could do as well. It's a little different, but it's more about me playing a role, miking and bouncing and everything.
Right.
So I was trying to do both, and we continued. That's when and it opened my mind too. So when we were down to do Mood, I was working with System 32. I was recording a lot of the EDM stuff by System 32 because I know Kevin from System 32 is in that vein, it's an EDM. So he helped me a lot. So I had to big up Kevin, but Kevin really helped me in terms of especially my initial EDM stuff. And we still work on a lot of stuff. And I would say I work with different people for different purposes, you know. And I think Kevin and I gel really well, especially the EDM and pop stuff. So I think me trying to do what I've got a range of pumping, again, all these links. And then I was like, all right, let me do this trap. So now, Mood is an amazing song as a hit. I think it kind of hurt all of us when Mood did not become a hit.
Huge, right.
And I mean, different things. So we feel that maybe we should have done a video for it. We feel that maybe it was the timing. Around that time is when these SM dancehall started.
Yeah, started it, right.
But it just made it difficult. Because it's like, after people, like a song like that's supposed to be a hit. Like that made me feel like we not appreciate it.
Instantly, when I heard Mood, because I heard it on radio. It used to play on radio.
Right. It's like a hot night.
Yeah. So I heard it actually may have been on Slam. And and I instantly, because I mean it was a popular song, it was the Denise Belfort and
Rock Your Body.
Right. You know, the Ghetto Flex. And I was totally impressed with what you all did with it. You know, Abdiel doing the hook, and you know, I was like, yeah boy, this well done. And I was expecting, as you will, way more from the song, you know.
Yeah. But I thought that song would make us like, we all felt that song would solidify us as in these fellas
is the real deal.
Fellas.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely, especially me personally, I think that really made me feel like, why am I continuing to please a market that's not really on me like that? No? I appreciate everything that that happened before. I appreciate the successor. But then I need to, maybe it's time, you gotta evolve. You know what I mean? As I say, you don't want to play community football or national football your entire life. You want to evolve and take the next steps. So for me, I got this newfound success in EDM very fast. So from that Bad Royal song, a bunch of EDM producers wanted to work with me. Because they, I guess, saw me as like the new Bungie.
Right.
Very fast. Yeah. I remember I was out there. A lot of these artists who sing on these EDM vocals, you never meet them because they don't travel, they don't kind of stay in their own world. Yeah. So imagine, it's almost like they get to meet a real life
artist. Yeah.
So, and I remember I have a cool personality too. So I was hanging out with, taking shots with Skrillex producer and this producer and party and going backstage in Major Leagues and performing in Lollapalooza in Chicago. That was amazing. Like 10,000 people, and I saying left, right, and I using soca tactics. Right. And then working on is like, it was just a lot very fast, and I had nobody to ask for advice because none of the older artists in the industry in Trinidad ever give me advice on that level. I didn't really have any mentors, anybody to talk to who could be like, who could understand, because the people I like for example, like the G Andre, like G's definitely one of my mentors. Ken, they're not really exposed to that world now. So
in terms of performance, that's a different vibes. They're behind the scenes in control studios. Yeah, they're not interested in going out there either. Yeah.
Right. And I not a mic man. I done it a few times when I used to throw events. If the mic man couldn't come, I would just do it just because, save some money. But, so I was thrown. I remember just being thrown into the stand up on top of the DJ console and hype the crowd. And I just had to do it. And then I remember in Lollapalooza, there's 10,000 people. I remember, I can't remember if it was not Ariana Grande. One of them big artists was about to perform on the big stage. And we were before. And it's different stages now.
Right.
I remember I performed Galaxy Ranger, running the crowd. I just hype people. And tell how crazy it was. Somebody found me on Twitter who was in that 10,000 crowd and tagged me in a picture on Twitter.
Oh, serious?
And damn, I say like all these things I experienced, and it just, you understand, it just gives you a different perspective. I was like, you know what, this is a whole different opportunity. Like, I
Right,
accustomed in Trinidad, like barely get any. We had to fight the promoter to get paid sometimes.
right, right.
Worst thing is me and Rod's performing. They only give us one mic. So you go. I remember I leaving our country and I remember we supposed to be the biggest thing in hip hop in Trinidad, but yet this is how we're being treated. And then I go and travel with these fellas, and I backstage. We have our own room with drinks and with everything.
Wow, yeah.
We taking our golf cart to the performance, to the stage.
Stage, right.
Everybody, people treating me like if I am people every 5 minutes. You need anything? So I think, and then after that, I go in backstage in Major Lazer concert, and I'm meeting all these people. I have no idea who they are. But when I check who they are after, I see 200,000 followers. This,
Wow.
so I think it really, I had nobody to advise me on it, but my gut feeling was like, I need to get this a try now.
Got you.
You know.
Got
So
you.
I think I never really spoke much on it, but it's just the truth. My mental just went more towards this. Like, let me understand this.
Right.
So after Mood, I felt like not that I wanted to take a break from trap, so I think it just organically happened because we decided, you know, let's try and figure out the next move.
Right.
But I focused heavily into EDM. But by doing that, I kind of lost the audience here.
Right,
People
right.
didn't know what I was doing. They just hear
Yeah.
noise. To them, it's noise.
Yeah.
What you doing? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
When the EDM world, I was building my brand.
Right. I would always follow you silently again, like on Instagram, and I see you doing these things. And I say, yeah, the man, because obviously I've been exposed to the music, to the EDM and all of that.
Right.
You know, being in the music myself, you know, and I saying, yeah, this brother going on the right angle. And it's so smart. I always thought the move was so smart, you know, from you know, in the sense of, you know what? Because you already had that kind of, you could do chanting, you had that tone already, and it lends itself to that now. And always looking for a man to, you know, a hype man kind of vibes.
Yeah, no, and
That's so
to be honest
genius.
with you, I think to this day I still have good links in EDM. I have a song dropping next week with two big EDM artists. Like one of them has like 300,000 followers.
Wow.
The other one has like 70,000 followers.
Wow.
One is from Mexico, one is from the Netherlands.
Nice.
And it's like, but why I eased off of EDM is because I felt you can't build yourself as a brand, as an artist in EDM. The EDM is about the DJ.
It is.
So I would always be a featured artist. So I started to think about careers in it. And at the time, I didn't mind doing it with Bad Royal because those are my friends and I trust them. I would have done it. If it is, they said, come on tour, let's tour the world. All I do is hype us up, mic, take one song, and that's it. Because I went Vegas too. Like I have a friend of Bad Royals, hosted us in Vegas, asked us to come to Vegas to mic. I will say this. I performed right after DJ Snake in Las Vegas. DJ Snake came off stage, gave me a bounce, and you know, I Dimitri Vegas. Like this EDM also opened me up to some crazy experiences. Like I went Shaq's Shaq's event. I meet Shaq already. You know what I mean? Like,
and you know, and the strangest, the craziest thing, no, Marcus. The craziest thing is all of this happened from you going out to eat some doubles. That's the craziest thing. You understand? I just had a little follow up there. I had a little follow up on the internet. But yeah, the craziest thing.
No, I think that what taught me is like you have to say like you see networking for giving me that platform. And just to talk to people about international networking now, because you gotta take a chance, and I'll come to that. Right now, I focus heavily on like reggaeton and stuff, and I have a little gem regarding that too. But just with EDM, just to tell you, like the kind of life I've seen and I've experienced from my 3 or 4 years going to Miami Music Week and Lollapalooza and all these things, is like stuff you'd see in a movie. Like I hung out with Gronk. Gronk is a big NFL player. Like these are people I would come home to Trinidad after and watch TV and see them on TV now.
Right.
I think that like that, though, understand, like a lot of people in the industry don't understand the kind of, they just saw I doing weird music, but they don't understand the kind of contacts I have now, the kind of, but why I eased up on that is because at the end of the day, I still want to build my brand as an artist, right? And I felt like I was building my brand as a featured artist on here, and my followers I wasn't getting a following from it. It's like the people who started to follow me were producers.
Right. I got you.
So my fans and DJs. But I had to start to think this UK hip hop, and I started to fall in love with that style too. And I studied heavily, and I always wanted to try it. And my cousin, Tamo, he actually performs. He's a bassist and plays different
Clint.
instruments. You know Clint, right? So Clint is my cousin.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, we got Clint. And me and Clint just real connect to, like, he's real kicks.
Clint is vibes.
Real vibes, a real genuine person to one. And Clint sent me a grime track, because in my Instagram stories, I would kind of tell people what I like, or, it's a way for me to connect with people.
Right.
And he sent me a track that idea he had for a grime song. So him and Mario from Kestivan,
right,
they have a studio in Gasparilla, and I would link by them a few times. So I ended up just working with them on different stuff and working on this track, and it's called Island Time. And just to fast forward a bit, that song inspired me to work on my own project. And I was like, I always wanted to release a project on my birthday. So I did this project called The Introspect. And I was like, you know what? Let me stop thinking about markets and this and that. Let me just do something for me. Let me just have fun. And I did this project. But the plan was to do a music video for each song. And it's something I just wanted to do for myself. Because I felt like all the other projects I did before was me trying to please people or me trying to do this. So I executive produced it myself. I released it on my own label. And she bought videos for all the songs. And I think, the project itself was not success or anything like that. But for me, it gave me the tools and understanding to develop me and take me to the next stage now. And I actually got to go to England last year and perform the songs, I performed at the Tip Shop in Brixton. Small venue, but it is a legendary venue. Like, week before, Spranger Benz had performed. KRS-One had performed before that. It's a legendary hip-hop in Brixton. And just to be able to perform in England was, it was interesting. Like, it was fun. And I mash up the crowd, And, that gave me a different kind of confidence too. And then during that trip, I wouldn't lie, England, because I've been all over America, England is a different frequency. And it being in England and looking into Trinidad, looking at social media in Trinidad, I was able to just get a whole different perspective now and realize how big the world is, that nobody surrounding me right now in England studying what's going on in Trinidad. And I remember being on the train talking to my boy Mikey, and him and his girlfriend were telling me, like, we're just talking about my music and stuff, and they thought I was an EDM artist. Like, they thought that was what I was pursuing. And I realized I'm probably a real confusing people, and I have to really watch my brand. And I just got some time to think and really plan my next stage. And I realized I do release a lot of music. I need to focus on quality over quantity. While I've done what I did, just to network and try different things. I feel like 2020 is a year for me to really do this properly.
So now we hit 2020, and you have the releases on for 2020, which actually are doing quite well. And Hot Boy Summer, you did with
it's Casely.
Casely.
It actually hit 20. It hit 21,000 views before I came on the school.
Wow!
In one day.
That's amazing. And I was watching this guy's as follow Chromatics Grind.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how you marketed the other track. Is it Hub? Yes. Right. The Latin one.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you just was hitting up people on the Instagram.
Yeah, Arion, I've always liked reggaeton. Like, I'm a fan of music. I'm a fan of different styles of music. And I think that it's been a difficult journey as an artist, because I like so many different things. It's hard to just do one thing.
Right.
But for a brand, they can't be too all over the place. And that was some difficult lessons I had to learn.
Understood.
But I look at it as great lessons because it developed me into who I am today and makes me so versatile, right? But I had an ex-girlfriend who she was like half Spanish, and she used to take me to Latin like back in the day, like like around the time when like you and I now met on stuff.
Right.
And I always liked reggaeton. I always felt the vibe of reggaeton, the bounce, the beat of it. I felt connected.
Yeah, and it have a similar Caribbean vibe because it's similar as dancehall essentially, old school, like old Dublin. Yeah.
They influenced by dancehall now. So I always wanted to do a reggaeton song, but once again, it's just opportunity, And I'm the kind of person that's like, itches on a scratch, like years passed, and I was like, I want to try something, and I'll say, you know what, but I always wait on the right opportunity.
Right.
I used to talk to Mr. Renzo and people in Trinidad and be like, I wonder how to do this. And then through it, this is how I want to connect everything. I had a song called Born Babylon, an EDM song that I released because I never stopped doing EDM. Right? Just before I went to the UK, I released this song.
Right.
I think this song on like 200,000 views on YouTube or something on this channel called Trap City.
Right.
And a lot of my fans were young producers and DJs and stuff. Right. So this youth from Venezuela hit me up and he was like, yo, like, I really like Born Babylon. I want to get some vocals from you. Like, how do you work? So I was telling them, well, usually I charge to do vocals.
Right.
If not, I mean, you're a youth, I ain't really, but say fuck it. But if you could just get me something for studio time, we could work it out, right?
Right.
And you tell me, honestly, like, you have some real financial issues right now, things tough in Venezuela.
Right.
You can't afford to pay anybody.
Oh, Venezuela,
like,
right.
Yeah, right? And I was like, you know what? Do you produce other styles of music? He was like, yeah, he does reggaeton, trap. I say reggaeton, all right, send me a reggaeton beat or some reggaeton beat. He sent me the pronto beat.
Right.
And when I heard this beat, I was like, yo, I'm going to do this reggaeton thing right now. Right? So I was like, all right, I'll cut the deal with you. I will do this song for you for free. If it is that I can buy this beat for you at a reasonable price, but buy out the beat, like buy the rights.
Own it, right, yeah.
Right. So we cut a deal, and he was actually willing to sell me the rights to his publishing. And you know what? I couldn't morally do it. I was like,
yeah. You don't want to read the boy, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hey, well, I can't do it. Like for me, I'm interested in owning masters because it's it's very important. But I wanted to hold your publishing. I told him, I said, listen, anytime you sell a beat to somebody, maintain your publishing. Right. Me or anybody else, don't give away your publishing because I explained to him if that song becomes something, you're missing out on
nothing to get. Yeah.
Right. And I started helping him out. I actually gave him advice on we talk all the time. His name is Cedric, and he was like he's like the connector, and then the person who actually produced the song is Yoel, right? Another youth from Venezuela, and from there, I started writing on Pronto. I sent him the idea. He really liked it. And this is where I connect back with G Andre. Now, for years, I always wanted to continue working with G because to me, it's beyond music. Is brotherhood and is you know what I mean? Like same thing with Mevon and Rods. You know what I mean? Like right now we're not working on anything, but when we reconnect, it's gonna be right. So I always wanted G to mix the songs I was doing in EDM and all these things, but they mix their own songs now. So it's kind of so I never got the opportunity to work with G or anything since the trap. So I was like, you know what? This is 2020. It's a fresh year. I had this revelation in the UK. I'm ready to take my time and work on stuff. So I recorded the vocals. I said, G, I have this song. I know what I'm trying to do. G started mixing for me. I was like, G, this song is real good. Hey, he's our boss.
Yeah.
And G was like, I think you should get a female reggaeton artist on it. And then Mikey was like, I feel I should get a female reggaeton. So it's like, I think one other person told me the same thing. And I was like, where I go and find a reggaeton artist?
Right.
So I started to kind of use hashtags because I should go back a bit. When I was doing the Introspect Grime project, I learned how to network through hashtags. And I always share it because I want other people to know too. I would search the hashtag grime music. Right. And when you search a hashtag, basically a hashtag is a category, a search category. So once you click on a hashtag, you see all the people who hashtag that. So I would search grime DJ and I'll find all the grime DJs. So similarly with reggaeton, I search reggaeton, female or female singer, reggaeton or whatever. Just reggaeton. So I started to kind of Instagram stalk these singers and listen. think about who I want. Then I remembered, wait now, I had this EDM song on a Latin label that a girl played. And I remember her name. I probably spoke to her once. You know, she said she know about Trinis because, you know, she's half Jamaican and half Panamanian.
Okay. Right.
And it ended up being Marles, right? And I remembered, I checked down a message. I was like, hey Marles, you know, I have a song. I'm looking for a female. And at the time, I think she was going through some, dealing with some stuff in the industry. Because as a featured artist, I could relate.
Right.
It doesn't really benefit you, and it's always end up benefiting the producer.
Right.
So she was saying she real funny about collabs, and you know she's not sure. But when I sent her the track and she listened to it, she was like, "This is fire!" And I did it within a week. She recorded, and I really like what she did.
Right.
She mixed it. I have a brother in Romania, Bogdan, who masters for me. So he's my master engineer
in Romania.
Yeah, Romania. Yeah, it's crazy. So Bogdan is real. I'm back with the master, and Gian's our boss to the mixing.
Yeah.
And I put it out, and I actually, you know, I started to play it for people, and I started to play it for people here, close friends in the industry, and they were like, "It's cool," or "I'm not too sure." I like the whisper flow, but the full, like everybody has some issue.
Something right.
And my gut instinct, I was like, you know what? I decided to just follow my instinct, and this is my time to just focus on me, right?
Right.
And somebody had told me, it's okay, I don't think it's going to reach anywhere, kind of that. And I cannot use that energy. And I just decided to message 10 people. I searched the reggaeton hashtag, and I messaged 10 people.
Right.
And I found a DJ pool called BPM Latino.
Right.
And I messaged all of them, like, hey, artists from Trinidad, all I asked them to do is just listen to the song. I didn't ask somebody to play it, I didn't ask somebody. So I'm not asking him much, just listen. And remember, this is around the time COVID started.
Right.
Everybody home with nothing.
Right. Everybody home. Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody responded to me.
Oh, wow.
And 80 out of 100, I would say, were positive feedback.
Right.
Actually, the second or third person to respond to me is DJ X, who I have my new song with, Belly Dance Girl. Right. And collabs came out of it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's like my plan, I was telling Mev the other day actually. Because I was telling, he was great advice to me, like, make sure and focus on the Braveboy solo stuff too in between the collabs, man. I was telling him what happened is, after Pronto, I was supposed to release another single.
Okay.
But everything you see just happened over the past 2 months, happened during COVID, as in those collabs. Right. So it's like, and the songs came out better than my next single. So you see how life is. So now I have to, and then one of them was Rude Boy Summer. Casely and I have been working for, we met funny meeting again by Smokey and Bunty.
Wow. Lyman, boy, that's a secret. I was going to ask you a question, you know, what you think is your superpower? And you can probably, what is your superpower though? Because
networking. I could turn, Arion, I swear, bro, I could turn somebody playing my song into big up. Like, I have a song coming out with a rapper and a producer from Taiwan, right?
Wow.
And I'll tell you how that happened. I remember telling the Galaxy Rangers, my first EDM song, and it did really well, playing Ultra. Yeah. So the DJ that played it had a video, and you can check it out. It's Party Favor on YouTube. Yeah. And you see it, he's playing my song with Barrier, people dancing in Ultra. Right. So he wanted this song, and then he saw Mark Hardy as the artist somewhere. He found my Facebook page from Taiwan. He used Google Translate, messaged me, and asked me how he could get this song. And at the time, the song wasn't released. So I said, bro, I promise you, when the song was released, I'm going to send it to you. Yeah. And all I asked him to do, if you could play it in the club over there, take out the video. He's like, of course, excited. Yeah. Then released, I sent it to him. And then he played it. I think I posted that video on Instagram the other day. Yeah. Club in Taiwan. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? I am done. I say, yo, you know any artists in Taiwan? I was like, you know what? I don't know nothing about Taiwan, but let me just go for it. Right. And he was like, actually, I know a rapper. And he connected me with a rapper. And that person, it didn't work out. Yeah. But then he connected me with somebody else. And then for the past 2 years, I've been in this group called Trinidad to Taiwan, talking in Taiwanese. I kid you not. And we're working on an EP called Trinidad to Taiwan. And we just finished recording and shooting a video for one of the songs called Sourcing. So I'm telling you, like that. If I had to say my superpower, I think I'm a talented person. I think that,
Yes,
but
yeah, indeed.
I think beyond all that, my networking ability and my personality is responsible for all of this, and it's not
Okay.
normal.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
definitely is a superpower because when I talk to friends in the industry, they blown away, like they confused, like they don't understand how one person could be so good at networking.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, and you see, again, your personality lends to that. I guess being exposed, your parents, how you brought you up, your dad making sure
Yeah,
you go private school, but you can still go on the ground Belmont and you understand,
right.
Corey Street
Yeah,
and do your thing. I watching time, so I really want us to
yeah.
kind of narrow down a couple. So I have a last couple questions I want to throw
Sure,
at
sure,
you,
sure, sure.
right? Which is
Yeah.
all across the board. Um, had you the opportunity to go back in time and speak with the 15-year-old Mark Hardy or the 15-year-old Marcus Braveboy, right? What would you have advised him if to do anything different? What would you go now with all this experience you have? What would you tell him to do,
Uh, that's
if
an
anything?
interesting question because I do sometimes feel like I have regrets. I feel like because I mean I'm 35 and
Right,
I feel like given my journey and opportunities, I'm supposed to be further in certain ways, and you always want more.
right,
But everything happens for a reason, and I do feel that all this, like especially this conversation, was great because it's when I just got to think back and really connect the dots.
mm-hmm.
Everything I experienced, and I know this sounds cliche, but I believe it's true for me, brought me to this chapter of my life.
Right,
Whether it's my father's health, whether it is me connecting with so many great people in the industry, from Mevon and Rods to Giandre to Ken to Bad Royal,
mm-hmm.
you know.
To
So
Taiwan.
it's like training you for the World Cup now. And I feel like
Right.
uh, I mean, I have advice for the 50-year-old me, but I wouldn't even go there because I think you have to learn and experience certain things on your own to build who you are. Because our parents tell us things and we're like, yeah, but we just gotta do our own thing. But when you really experience it, when you experience your first heartbreak, people can tell you that woman go break your heart.
Yeah.
But it's only when they get our first heartbreak, you're like, oh
That is when
gosh,
you go know, yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if I had to say something, I would advise I would have probably properly saved from 15 years old.
Financially.
Yeah, and I think
Right.
that's one thing I'm gonna ensure in my kids.
Right.
Whether I do it personally or I let them do it,
Right.
I want to put aside, like, I want them to enjoy their life and live because I have so many great experiences, right? But I think the importance of having money and having that money to do what you want to do is so important. Or just, the ability to invest, buy assets at a very young age. I think that's something I want to instill now. So that's the only thing I would say. But otherwise, I think I am grateful for every experience. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say, like, I go back to Giandre, like, he really taught me. Like, people always tell me I'm one of the easiest artists they ever had to work with, like, in the studio. And I think that's from G. I think G really instilled a professionalism in me in terms of getting work done, do this, da, but we can still talk and vibe.
He has in me as well. Yeah, he was my mentor as well in terms of
Yeah,
me
no, G is
in
definitely.
yeah.
And I spoke to him recently, and once again, as I say, like everybody I mentioned, I'll mention Steph Kalu as well. Steph is one of my best friends, and Steph and I got to travel together to do music, and like we went LA, we shot a music video, we performed. It's like everybody, all these people on this journey with me.
Right.
I have them in mind for sure, no matter what. I think we're all gonna be successful.
Big respect,
but yeah, they all, like people Silva as well. They have a lot of people. Adam, DJ David, good people now.
Very, very good.
And I'm meeting some new ones and great people, even in this reggaeton chapter, Afrobeat chapter.
Nice.
Yeah, so for sure, I invest.
Yeah, I got you, man. I tell my 15-year-old self that as well, honestly.
Yeah, boy.
So the last bit is what I call the playbook. Right? And the playbook basically is your steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. In terms of what you would think are the steps necessary to achieve your definition of success. Right? So I want to guide you on what your playbook is. for
As in,
your...
what's next? What's next? Or
No,
for,
no,
like,
no. The playbook would be the steps anybody would take to
oh,
achieve
okay.
their steps. So step
Um,
one, this, you know, what would you
I
have you
think
do?
one, find what you're really passionate about, especially in this industry, because they're gonna have so many tough days that the only thing that'll pull you out of depression or financial difficulties is passion, right? So my first my first is that business. Don't do it because you think it's easy or you think it's fun. This is not easy, right? Two, research and learn about what you're passionate about, because people have been telling me recently, like, I just keep getting better and better and better, like vocally, and that's because I have this all the time. I keep on, like, every day I'm listening to new music and trying different things, and and also the business side of the industry. I ask questions. Everybody I meet, I learn. I'm like a sponge. I always have been like that, And even I'm not a big reader. Like, I wouldn't say I'm gonna read a whole book, but you have to read, and if you don't like reading, listen to audiobooks or listen to stuff, YouTube tutorials, right? Find like-minded individuals who are passionate about what you're passionate about too, who are genuine, like, get a good team or a good circle of people who will uplift you and not bring you down. Like, be around people who will encourage you and you encourage them, and also make sure they're not yes men, like, you need people to tell you, like, I have friends who tell me I don't like that song, right?
Right, straight.
And I need that because if everybody tell me they like something, then I feel like, like, but I have friends, and when I have a song that everybody likes, I feel good because, like, all right, I have something. Like Rude Boy Summer is one of them songs.
Right.
Like, everybody like that song.
Yeah.
Right? Other than that, get your business in order. Understand which part is part of research, but in terms of executing, once you research and execute, make sure and register your company. Make sure and do contracts for everything. Make sure and have an email trail of every conversation that you have with people.
Right.
Whatever your method of communication is, your method of communication. I would say make sure you have a trail, whether it's WhatsApp or email, because in this industry, people fall out over past conversations that if it was on the phone and then, or if it was in person, nobody's there to document it.
Right.
I would say understand build a brand, like, build a brand, understand how to build a brand, because it's not just about talent anymore. It's about building a brand and an empire from the brand. And the last piece of advice, stepwise, I would say is just like, your reputation. It's even good because your reputation is all you have when it comes down to the end of the day. Like, somebody that you did something for a long time ago and you forgot about it. When you're down, they will be there for you and they will get you that helping hand. And I think that is something that I've learned. And tell people I live my life to be good at people. And at times where I was down, where somebody was like, yo, so and so want to connect you with a industry person, out of the blue, or I have a job for you, or I have an opportunity for you, and that's my thing. I think also especially in music, I give this advice specifically to music. Make sure it's still, like, you still have fun doing it. Sometimes just look at it and have fun doing it. Like, and I think that's really, I hope I answer your question. I kind of
No, I got it. Fully did. And just to add to what you said, I remember Shell Shock, who passed away. He said the same thing, but the last thing you just said, he said, anytime music started to come like algebra, you're doing the wrong thing. You're not supposed to fight the music. It's supposed to come to you. And it's really a connection, a universe. It's a spiritual thing, and it's supposed to be an energy. So anytime you try to fight it, something wrong.
I'll add one more thing. I think from traps in particular, I learned purpose in music. And I learned that some interesting things happen. Like, I remember youths used to walk up to me and tell me I'm the hero. And, like, when they grow up, like, little thing, I remember this specifically. Arthur Clan had asked me to perform at an event that he was having, a kind of rap, so tribute event. And I grew up after Clan KMC, all these fellas as I like, you know.
Right.
And I remember Ola Tunji was there as well, and me and Ola Tunji stand up next to each other. And when Treason was performing, we was hyped, you know. And I thought, I was like, you know, Ola is around my age, and like we look up to these fellas as heroes. And it's like, I started to think, well, you know, now we kind of there now, more him than me. I thinking, you know, and I'm thinking much of myself. I'm thinking like, you know, don't worry, I'll get there. I swear I left with some Coco Lounge, and some youth was like, yo, use Mark Hardy. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yo, you are like my hero. And things like that.
Wow.
And then Tobago, like us bigging up Tobago in Narboy and pumping. The love we got from Tobago, because people tend to exclude Tobago in the conversation.
A lot of times, unfortunately,
Right. And I think that I realized how much love we got from Tobago. You know, like we were like stars in Tobago at the time.
Right.
And then just inspiring people, I realized my journey, even though I feel like I haven't made it as yet, I feel like I've inspired and helped so many people on this journey. Not everything is for Instagram and for, you know, it's not some things I've done for people that really changed their lives and really brought them from, you know, like when they were the lowest and thing. And I think that purpose is really important and inspiring people. And I'll tell you something, there's a youth from Nigeria who been going through some tough times, like real pressure, nothing to eat, and I felt good I was able to give him an opportunity to make money. And still in a business capacity, but like way how this brother thanks me is like he said nobody ever did nothing for him like this ever, you know. And I think that is purpose is something that no matter what you do in life, whether it's music or whatever, purpose is important, and everybody have a purpose. It's not just celebrities, and not just people in the public eye. And I think that find your passion, but also find your purpose. And you'll live a good life.
Oh man, Marcus Braveboy are going back, Mark Hardy.
Yeah.
No, but Marcus, this was brilliant, man. This was beautiful, and I really appreciate you making the time.
Of course.
You ain't looking too bad under the night. I know you had a rough night this morning. I might wake up late. Well, but as a man of your word, you come through, and I really appreciate that. And you know, all the information you was able to share, man, it was beautiful, Marcus. I really appreciate it.
And I look forward to it. I'm going to make sure and post stuff.
Bless it. I appreciate any little strength that you can give. Yeah.
Now, I really enjoyed. I will watch the others too, but I enjoyed Giandria and Mebon's interview because I know them more close and stuff. But love what you're doing. Keep it up, Jet. Great stuff.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
We like soon in the studio, don't worry.
Yeah, man. For sure. You had to come and check me. Come and check me. All right, bro. Anyway, blessings. Stay good, boy. Stay good. And you know, my prayers go out to you and your family and your old man especially. You know, love and strength. Take care, man.
Bless up.
Yeah, bless.
Brother. See you.